Most people spend their Saturday mornings tracking every coffee purchase and subscription fee, meticulously categorizing expenses while million-dollar opportunities slip past them unnoticed. They're so focused on cutting their grocery bill by $20 that they miss the chance to increase their income by $20,000. This is the budgeting trap, and it's keeping more people poor than any economic downturn ever could. Here's what's really happening. While you're penny pinching your way through spreadsheets, others are multiplying their wealth effortlessly by focusing on completely different activities. They're not worried about their latte budget because they're busy creating income streams that make those expenses irrelevant. Today, I'll show you the two-part system that shifts your entire approach from scarcity management to wealth multiplication. The fundamental problem with budgeting isn't the math, it's the mindset. When you spend your mental energy tracking every dollar going out, you're programming your brain to think in terms of limitation rather than expansion. Your subconscious starts identifying you as someone who needs to restrict and control rather than someone who creates and multiplies. This scarcity programming becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that blocks wealth-building opportunities before they even register in your awareness. Think about the opportunity cost here. The average person spends 3 hours per week managing their budget, reviewing expenses, and optimizing their spending. That's 506 hours per year focused on the money leaving your account instead of the money you could be bringing in. Those same 156 hours could be spent learning high-income skills, building side businesses, or developing the networks that create real wealth. You're essentially choosing to be an expert in spending less rather than earning more. Real wealth builders understand something that budget enthusiasts miss entirely. They focus on the top line, not the bottom line. While you're shaving $50 off your monthly expenses, they're adding $5,000 to their monthly income. The math isn't even close. You could eliminate every discretionary expense in your budget and still not come close to the impact of increasing your earning potential by just 10%. I learned this lesson the hard way. For 7 years, I tracked every expense with religious devotion. I had spreadsheets that would make accountants weep with joy. I knew exactly how much I spent on gas, groceries, entertainment, and everything else, down to the penny. My budget was a work of art, perfectly balanced and optimized. And after 7 years of this financial discipline, I was exactly where I started financially, just with better spreadsheet skills. Breakthrough came when I discovered the multiplication principle. Wealthy people don't think in terms of limitation, they think in terms of leverage. Instead of asking, how can I spend less, they ask, how can I make this dollar work harder? Instead of cutting expenses, they multiply assets. Instead of managing scarcity, they create abundance through strategic focus on high leverage activities. Your $5 latte isn't keeping you poor. Your income ceiling is. The problem isn't your spending habits, it's your earning habits. While you're optimizing your budget, someone else is optimizing the value in the marketplace. Guess who builds wealth faster? The targeted wealth strategy flips everything you've been taught about money management. Instead of spreading your energy across dozens of small optimizations, you concentrate all your focus on the few activities that actually multiply your returns. This isn't about working harder, it's about working on the right things with laser precision. The 80-20 rule applies ruthlessly to money. 80% of your financial activities produce maybe 20% of your results, while 20% of your activities could produce 80% of your wealth. Most people spend their time in that low-impact 80%, tweaking budgets and comparing prices. Wealth multipliers live in the high-impact 20%, focusing exclusively on activities that move the needle significantly. There are 3 multiplication channels that actually matter. First, skills that increase your earning potential. This means developing abilities that make you more valuable in the marketplace, not just more efficient at your current job. Think strategic skills that open doors to higher paying opportunities or enable you to command premium rates. Second, assets that generate passive income. These are investments that work while you sleep, creating money without trading your time directly. Third, networks that create opportunities, the relationships that lead to partnerships, referral. If you're employed, your highest leverage activity is probably developing skills that could double your salary or enable you to freelance at premium rates. If you're already earning well, your multiplier might be investing in assets that generate passive income streams. If you're entrepreneurial, your focus should be on building systems and networks that scale beyond your personal time investment. The key is strategic disappearance. You need to immediately stop doing the activities that feel productive but don't actually multiply wealth. Stop tracking small expenses. Stop comparing prices on routine purchases. Stop optimizing your grocery budget. Stop reading about budgeting strategies. These activities create the illusion of financial progress while keeping you trapped in scarcity thinking. Instead, disappear from the low-leverage activities to create space for wealth building. Use the time you would have spent budgeting to learn a high-income skill. Use the mental energy you would have spent tracking expenses to identify investment opportunities. Use the focus you would have spent optimizing spending to build relationships that create business opportunities. The implementation framework is completely different from traditional financial advice. Instead of monthly budget reviews, you do weekly wealth multiplication audits. Every week, you ask 3 questions. What did I do this week that could multiply my income? What assets did I acquire or improve that generate passive returns? What relationships did I build that could create future opportunities? If you can't answer those questions positively, you spent the week managing scarcity instead of creating abundance. The audit isn't about perfection, it's about direction. You want to see consistent movement toward multiplication activities and away from limitation activities. This approach feels uncomfortable at first because you're programmed to focus on control rather than growth. Your brain will try to pull you back to budgeting because it feels safer to manage what you have than to risk creating more. But that comfort zone is exactly what keeps most people financially stuck. The multiplication mindset requires you to think like an investor rather than a consumer. Investors ask how they can make money work harder. Consumers ask how they can spend money smarter. Investors focus on acquiring assets. Consumers focus on managing expenses. Investors think in terms of returns and leverage. Consumers think in terms of savings and restrictions. When you shift to multiplication thinking, your entire relationship with money changes. You stop seeing money as something to hoard and start seeing it as something to deploy. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, will this multiply my wealth? You stop optimizing for safety and start optimizing for growth. The fundamental shift is from managing scarcity to creating abundance through targeted multiplication. While others track every penny, you're building the systems that make those pennies irrelevant. While they're cutting expenses, you're multiplying income. While they're managing limitation, you're creating leverage. Your next step is to watch the Advanced Wealth Acceleration Strategies, where I break down the specific multiplication techniques that can double your net worth in the next 12 months.